Hello, and welcome to another edition of Rex, the still adequate would-be chef. Tonight, we're doing the first recipe in the beef chapter, which is basically a pan-broiled steak, or shall I butcher the French and say a Bifteck Sauté à Beurre. Now, I do have a rib steak. I have trimmed off the excess fat, and we're ready to really just start cooking. Let's go over the ingredients. Okay, so I have one rib steak. The recipe calls for two, but it's just me. No reason to overcook, and it gives me a reason to do one tomorrow. So we have a rib steak, a tablespoon of oil, and a tablespoon of butter to keep the butter from burning. Basically, that's it, with the exception of a half a cup of a vermouth or a white wine, and some butter for the sauce at the end. Okay, now that we've done that, we're gonna move stove side. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put the oil and the butter in the pan. We're gonna put that on moderately high heat, and you'll see the butter, as you know, it's gonna foam and then it's gonna begin to subside. At that point, we're gonna put the steak in, and we're gonna cook it about 4 minutes on each side. Once that's cooked, I'll quickly remove the steak out of the pan. I'm gonna go ahead, she says to salt and pepper it. This is pretty much just a Montreal steak seasoning. I'm gonna lightly coat that on both sides, and then we'll get to rendering down the sauce. Okay, as you can see, the butter is beginning to clarify. Now, as you can see here, this is my steak. I got it wrapped up in paper towels, and I'm just making sure it's nice and dry. You don't want to put red meat in a skillet because it's not going to brown. So once that butter is subsided and we're good to go, we're going to drop it in there. Now, this is a little bit larger skillet. I wish I had a smaller one. You really just want something that is going to fit the piece of meat, but this is pretty much the smallest skillet that I have. Okay, let's go ahead and cook it. We're going to cook it about 4 minutes on each side. I've brought in my timer again to make sure that we get a good cook evenly. You'll see a red ooze begin to start coming out of it. That's medium rare. Or if you push it, like if I push it right now, you see it just immediately gives. If the minute it starts to firm on resistance, you pretty much know you have a medium rare steak, which is just the way I like it. Okay, there's 4 minutes, so let's go ahead. As you can see, we're really cooking with gas. We're gonna flip that right over. Okay. At this point, we're done. I know it's loud, but we're going to go ahead and pull this steak off. And try not to burn the living tar out of yourself. Let's go ahead and move this. Well, it's just hot. That's not going to work. Get that out of there. And move it over to a plate. Just like that. Now you can see, she says it's done. You can see the little red juices coming out of the top. That's what she says. You know it's done. Now I'm just going to season the top of this just a little bit with that steak seasoning. That's Montreal steak seasoning. Oh, it looks a little brown on that side. It looks like I may have gotten that a bit too hot. Now, we're going to pour off this fat, and then we're going to render down the sauce by using a half a cup of vermouth, scraping all that drippings off, and try to get a nice sauce out of this. Okay, so you turn the stove back on. As you can see in the pan here, you have where the steak was, and at that point, you just get your vermouth. Pour that in there. We're going to deglaze this. And we're going to, you want to boil that down till it's almost syrupy. Using a wooden spoon, move it around. Try to get all the little pieces that stuck to the pan, just like that. And we're just going to let that go until it becomes more of a syrup. Once it becomes syrupy, we're going to take it off heat, and then we're going to stir in 2 tablespoons of butter right here and make a nice creamy sauce, and we're going to pour that right over the steak, and then it's time to eat. Okay, as you can see, it's really getting syrupy here. Go ahead and kill that heat. And I will say you really should use a screen. I didn't. I got a little busy, and my stove is a complete mess right now with oils, and that's going to be fun to clean up. So now with it off heat, go ahead and put in that butter. And we're just going to stir that in. And this butter should thicken it up just a little bit. Okay, I know it looks a little more done on camera. I'm looking at least in my viewfinder, this is looking pretty well cooked. Let's cut into it and see what we have. Alright, it's close to medium rare. The sauce, I think I put too much vermouth because I didn't compensate for just a single steak, but you can see here I think it just looks dark on the outside because the juices are just sort of seared into it. But let me get there. As you can see, it's a really nice done. Let's see what this tastes like. Let's see what this steak tastes like. Make sure you get some good sauce on it. Good flavor. To be fair though, I got a piece of gristle in there. My choice of steaks, not Julia's. Let me cut in a little deeper. See what I got more on the inside. One more try. Definitely gonna send that one back to the kitchen. Not. No, it's good. It's really good. I'm about to open up a bottle of wine. I'm going to enjoy this thoroughly. This is Rex with the Adequate Would-Be Chef cooking steaks and potatoes for you tonight. So thanks for watching. Enjoy this. Don't be afraid of your kitchen. Remember, it's all yours. Later.